Somewhere on a shelf right now, there's a wallet cut from the exact same century-old tannery leather as a $300 heritage billfold, sitting there for under 50 bucks, and almost nobody is picking it up. Not because it's worse, it just doesn't spend a dime telling you it exists. That's the quiet secret of this whole category. On a wallet, the expensive one and the cheap one are, more often than not, the same object wearing a different corner stamp. The $100+ gap is the logo and the ad budget behind it, and you're the one funding both, so today we fix that. 6 wallet brands sitting ignored, priced like they have no idea what they're holding, quietly matching gear that costs 3 and 4 times more. A wallet isn't something you rebuy every year either, so the money you pour into a logo is money that stays gone for a long time, and most guys carry the wrong one for a decade before they ever question it. I'll get to that shelf wallet, the leather one, at the very end, because it's the cleanest example of the whole idea. Let's count up. Number 6. Think about the last time you dropped into a restaurant booth and had to dig a folded brick of leather out of your back pocket just to sit level. That lopsided lean and the worn oval the thing eventually prints into your jeans is exactly the problem Big Skinny went after, using about the least sexy material in the business. Nylon. A thin woven microfiber they claim runs many times slimmer than a leather billfold, and having carried one, that part isn't a sales line. It genuinely vanishes in the pocket. And here's the knock people can't get past. It photographs cheap. It stays matte and plain forever. It'll never patina into that lived-in look leather guys chase, so the enthusiast crowd glances once and keeps scrolling. Their loss. Mine rode in my front pocket daily for years, got sat on and rained on without complaint, and I only retired it because I finally chewed up a corner past the point of looking presentable at work. That's the pattern owners keep reporting. A decade or more out of something that cost about as much as 2 coffees and a tip. It doesn't fail, it just eventually gets too ugly to keep, and it holds more than its slimness suggests. A full stack of cards, folded cash, an ID window, even a spare key tucked into the seam, all of it in a package that carries like your pocket is empty. This is the wallet for the guy who commutes, who travels light, who's tired of sitting on a lump all day, and it's the one I'd hand somebody who insists they can't go slim because they carry too much. One more thing the leather crowd never gets to enjoy. When a nylon one finally gets grimy, you can throw it in the wash. No leather wallet on earth survives that. The leather-trimmed version runs somewhere around $40, the plain nylon closer to $20, though prices drift, so check before you buy. And I won't dress up the trade. It's nylon. It will never be the thing you slide across a nice dinner table to quietly signal you have taste, and if that matters to you, skip it. But for pure daily carry, for killing the bulge at the price of a sandwich, very little touches it. Number 5 is going to sting a few of you, because plenty of you paid full freight for the fancy version. The aluminum plate wallet, a couple of machined metal cards with an elastic band strung between them and a little screwdriver tool tossed in the box. The famous one is the Ridge, and I'll hand it its due first. It's a good little wallet. The lifetime warranty is real, and their support actually looks after people. None of that is the problem. The number on the tag is. Because whatever the marketing implies, there is nothing patented or secret happening between 2 metal plates and a rubber band. The market noticed, and near-identical plate wallets flooded in for a sliver of the price. The one carrier's name first is a brand called Rossm, and here's the detail that tells the whole story. When reviewers line the two up, the clone doesn't just match the finish and the card count. It holds the same dozen cards, it comes with the same money clip and cash strap in the box, and it ships the exact same screwdriver tool. 2 supposedly different wallets, one identical little tool, and you can trace that straight back to whose factory line both of them are rolling off. The good clones I've seen land under $30 shipped. The name asks $130 for the same silhouette and the same tool. And it isn't only the plain aluminum, the carbon fiber and leather-wrapped versions they upsell you into have their own cheaper twins sitting one search away. Now the honest half, because a lazy version of this video would stop there and let you get burned. Cheap plate wallets are a gamble, not a guaranteed win. A carrier I trust bought 5 rock-bottom marketplace ones just to prove a point, and not one survived a week. The elastic goes slack, the coating rubs off onto your keys, the edges come sharp enough to shave your pocket lining. There's a real floor below which you're just buying garbage with a metal sheen. So this isn't blanket permission to grab the $2 mystery option. Stick to the known good names with an actual track record, the Rossms and their tier, and you lose nothing but the logo. Same capacity, same function, same little tool. You're carrying the wallet the influencer sold you for roughly what he paid to ship his. Number 4 opens on a fair question. If the cheap one really is as good, why is it cheap? For most of this list, the answer is a missing ad budget. This next one flips it into something better. It's cheap because it's the original, and half the market is paying a premium for the copy. That pop-up card wallet you've seen, the one where you thumb a lever and the cards fan out the top in a neat staircase, was invented by a Dutch company called Secrid. They built the mechanism, they refined it over years, and they've been quietly turning them out in Holland the whole time the idea was catching fire around them. They didn't just make a wallet either. They more or less kicked off the entire slim aluminum cardholder category the metal wallet world has been copying ever since. Then the imitators arrived. Slicker ads, heavier discount emails, and prices that in some cases, extra being the loudest, sale well past $100. Secrid itself sits around 50 to 60. Sit with that a second, because it's genuinely upside down. People are paying nearly double to own a knockoff of the exact thing the inventor will sell them directly for less. And the copies don't just cost more, they cut corners the original didn't bother to. The fanning lever is the one moving part in the whole wallet, and on a lot of the cheap imitators it's plastic, so owners report it snapping inside a year and the wallet dying with it. Some of them also lean on a little Bluetooth tracker card, the Find My Wallet gimmick, which owners find dies quick and needs the wallet held out in direct sun to recharge, which is not how anyone carries a wallet. Meanwhile, a friend who lived in Europe has carried the same Secrid for the better part of a decade, and he credits a felt strip inside the card slot for why his cards never got shredded by the metal. Whatever the reason, his look fine, and mine out of a cheap metal wallet did not. Paying extra for a knockoff of the inventor might be the purest brand tax on this entire list. The one limit, so you buy with eyes open. This is a card wallet and nothing more. Cards and a folded bill or two by design. Carry coins or a fat cash roll and you'll want something else entirely. Number 3 hides in a small Maine town, and being an unknown is the entire reason it's a steal. Rogue Industries. Their front pocket wallet has a gentle curve built into the back panel, shaped to ride the line of your leg so it lays flat up front instead of printing like a deck of cards. That's not a styling gimmick, and it's not just about looks. Moving your wallet out of your back pocket and up front is the single thing chiropractors nag people about, because sitting on a thick bifold all day tilts your hips and wrecks your lower back over the years. Rogue built a wallet specifically for that carry, and the part that clinches it, they hold an actual design patent on the curved shape. So the ergonomic front pocket idea that pricier carry brands love to lecture you about, this little Maine shop literally owns on paper. Why has nobody heard of them? Small family business, and the money goes into the leather and the stitching instead of your feed. The made-in-Maine front pocket model runs roughly $45 to $90, depending on the hide, which for an American-made wallet you'll carry a decade, is an honest number. A guy I worked with years back would not shut up about his. He was on his third, and not one of them had worn out. He just kept passing the older ones down to his kids as they landed their first jobs, which tells you more about how they hold up than any spec sheet could. One flag, and catching it is the difference between a real recommendation and an ad read. Not every Rogue is made in Maine, and not every one is the same grade of leather. Chunks of the wider line are made overseas, and some of it is top grain rather than full grain. If the American-made part is what you're buying it for, open the specific model page and confirm it, because the brand name alone doesn't promise it across everything they sell. Get the right one though, and you've got a patented, flat-riding, back-friendly, made-in-the-USA front pocket wallet for less than a lot of folks hand over for 2 slabs of aluminum. Quick pause in the count, because this next bit is the part you keep. If you're getting something out of this, do me a favor and subscribe. Straight, opinionated gear breakdowns with no brand sitting off camera softening the verdict is the whole reason this channel exists, and there's a new one weekly. Now here's what I actually want to leave in your hands so you can spot a wallet goldmine yourself long after these 6 names blur together. 3 tells. First, read who made it. A maker that names the town it's sewn in and the exact leather it's cut from is proud of the object. A brand that sells you a mood and a lifestyle but stays vague about the thing itself is selling you the mood, and you're the one paying for it. Second, watch for ubiquity. If a wallet is in every big box checkout lane and every third sponsored video, you're not looking at a rare find, you're looking at a marketing machine, and a fat share of that price is the machine, not the wallet. The real gold mines are the ones you had to actually go hunting for. Third, run the clone test on anything that isn't truly about the material. For a metal or nylon wallet, there's usually no secret sauce inside, so search the plain unbranded version of it. If a near identical wallet exists for a third of the money, you just measured the exact size of the markup you were about to pay. It won't work on genuine handmade leather, where the maker and the hide are the whole value. It works terrifyingly well on anything sold mostly on a logo. Back to the count, and the last two are the strongest on the board. Number 2, I'm going to praise and criticize in the same breath, because doing anything less would be dishonest. Popov Leather, out of a small town in British Columbia. Hand-stitched, full grain, made to order, and standing behind a lifetime guarantee, meaning if the stitching ever lets go, they repair or replace it for as long as you own it. All of that lands somewhere in the low hundreds, often less on one of their regular sales, which they run a few times a year. For a spec the heritage names people worship routinely charge 2 and 3 times more to match. Made to order means a short wait, but you also get to pick the leather and even the stitching color, so it shows up built to your taste instead of pulled off a pile. And unlike 2 stamped aluminum plates at a similar price, you can see exactly where your money went the moment you hold it. The hand stitching alone is the tell. Machine stitching is one continuous thread, so nick it once and the whole seam can unzip. Hand saddle stitching locks each stitch on its own, which is why people beat on these for years, and the seams just refuse to let go. Here's the criticism, up front instead of buried, because you deserve it before you spend. The leather they lean on most, a soft one called Chrome Excel, scuffs easily and won't always buff back out. It's going to look loved fast, which some of you will adore and some of you will hate. I've also heard from a leather worker I trust that the finishing on a few of them, an edge here, a stitch line there, isn't quite as crisp as the price implies. So it isn't flawless, and I won't pretend otherwise. What it is a genuinely well-made, lifetime-backed, full-grain wallet at a fair number, wearing a soft leather that shows its miles almost immediately. If that trade sounds right, it's one of the best values in leather. If you need it pristine at year 3, walk away now, and I'd rather say so than have you cursing your own patina in a month. The warranty is the quiet closer. A shop that small isn't pricing in a guarantee they're betting you never use. It's just the owner standing behind his own needle, and carriers 8 and 9 years deep say it holds without a fight. Before the reveal, let me swing the other way for a second, because this channel isn't knee-jerk anti-expensive. Some pricey wallets earn it. A metal and leather brand called Travax backs theirs with something like a 65-year warranty and builds them tough enough to survive a decade of genuine abuse. Belroy, which the value crowd loves to dunk on, actually solved slimness in a way most cheap wallets never manage, and owners get real years out of them. Neither is a gold mine on price, but neither is a con. Expensive was never the enemy. Expensive that's only buying you a logo is. Which brings me to number 1, that shelf wallet from the very top. There's a legendary Chicago tannery called Horween, running since the early 1900s, and its leather is what a huge amount of Grail-tier gear gets built from. Wallets, boots, ball gloves, watch straps, all of it. Their signature Chrome Excel is a pull-up leather made on a recipe that's barely changed in over a century, and their shell cordovan, a dense horse leather, is so prized because it actually rolls scuffs back out instead of scarring like ordinary hide. The famous heritage wallets cut from that shell cordovan will run you right around $300 for a single billfold. There's a Chicago maker called Ashland Leather whose flagship shell cordovan wallet sits right at that mark, and it's a beautiful thing, the object that gets photographed on a marble counter next to a watch worth more than your car. Here's what nobody advertises. A handful of tiny American makers buy leather from that same Chicago tannery and build wallets for a fraction of the money. The first I'll point you to is a small Baltimore shop called Hitch and Timber. Real Horween leather, cut and stitched and burnished by hand in the States, with card wallets and billfolds running from under $20 up into the 50s and low 80s depending on the model. One tannery, over 100 years of the same pedigree soaking in the hide, feeding both the $300 wallet and the $20 one. And I want to be precise, because this audience checks the math and should. It is not the identical piece of leather. The $300 wallet is usually shell cordovan, that rare, brutally labor-intensive horse leather that costs a fortune before anyone even threads a needle. The affordable makers are mostly working in Chrome Excel and Horween's other cowhide leathers, which cost far less even straight off the same tannery floor. So no, $20 doesn't buy you the exact Grail hide, and anyone promising that is selling you something. What $20 buys is leather from the same legendary house, worked by the same people, stitched into a wallet a real human built by hand. And for daily carry, honestly, Chrome Excel is the smarter leather anyway, tougher and more forgiving than the delicate cordovan people baby. The little Horween card wallet in my pocket right now came straight out of me figuring this exact thing out, and I haven't wandered a mall wallet counter since. For the overwhelming majority of us who just want a beautiful wallet from a real tannery and don't need the single most expensive horse leather on earth, that's the gold mine of the whole list. And if Hitch and Timber is sold out, which happens, a New England maker called Corter runs the same play with Horween in a similar band, and there's a small ecosystem of these little shops once you start looking. You can even verify it in about 10 seconds. The honest makers put the word Horween right there on the product page, because that name is half the reason to buy from them. The mall brand 2 clicks over, charging more, won't tell you what tannery its leather came from at all. And that silence is your answer. So look at what actually connects all 6. Every one is cheap for a reason that has nothing to do with quality. The price carries no ad budget, no chain of middlemen skimming a cut on the way to your pocket, and no logo you're leasing by the year. The money a big brand torches convincing you it's premium, these makers simply left in the product, or never spent to begin with. Once your eye learns to catch that, you can walk any aisle or any website and roughly sort the gold mines from the logos on your own. You stop buying the story and start buying the leather. That's the real thing to keep here, worth more than any single brand name. You now read a wallet counter better than the guy behind it working the upsell. So go put it to use, and settle something for the rest of us down in the comments. What's the cheapest wallet you own that has quietly embarrassed something 3 times its price? Name it, and how long it's been riding in your pocket, because that list is worth more to the next carrier than any ad ever made.